Hello and welcome to some behind the scenes magic. Now I tried to keep my desk messy. I tried to keep my desk clean because I'm at my desk a lot, writing, editing, YouTube, whatever. But the closer I get to finishing a project, the messier it gets. So it's okay at the moment. I mean, that's quite good for me. But I was just going to take this moment to show you what I'm working on with the dark and light of day, and what I've done in the edit so far, and why I've done it, and just stuff like that. So I hope this is slightly interesting. So for those interested, my setup, I'm actually running off one of the new i7 MacBook Pros, and I've plugged that into just a 24-inch Samsung monitor, which gives you far more desk space. But I also like to use the second monitor as well, and this allows me to obviously have all my files, all my media organised into bins, so I can keep all my video so I know which scenes they're from and such. And then I like to use my main monitor for editing and actually viewing the video. Now, at the moment, what I've also been doing is testing out some colour corrections. For instance, a lot of the shots were done day for night. Well, it's actually scene 2 was done day for night. You can see here we've got a campfire scene. This was actually all shot in daytime. In fact, if I scroll along here, that is a piece of raw footage that will also look like nighttime eventually. And I wasn't actually sure if I'd be able to make it look like nighttime, only because there's a fire. This shot is very rough, but that's actually quite a challenge, making the fire look obviously a light, but making it look like it's in nighttime. I think I just need the fall off to be. But because it's quite slow and it's a quite slow build up, I thought it would be far more interesting and exciting to put it all in different orders. So I've split it up even further, now into 5 chapters. And it starts with chapter 4, then goes to chapter 3, then goes to chapter 5, then goes to chapter 2, and then chapter 1. And it works like that, which is a bit more exciting, I guess. A bit more dynamic to watch. At the moment, I'm just altering the edit with this new consideration in mind about how it's going to flow. And then I'm also working on the sound. I've been adding some sound effects, you can hear. And they sort of like walk off into the distance. This would all make sense when you actually watch the film. And then bam, chapter 1, which happens last, because we make perfect sense here. But like I said, working through the edit, but also every now and then sending test clips over to After Effects, where I can get some rough colour corrections. The most recent one was this clip of my dad playing the tramp person, walks over this cliff bit. And if we just preview the original clip, oh no, not that one, you can see that's our original clip, which is okay. It's a bit bland, nothing too exciting. I mean, on this screen it looks alright, like what you're seeing, but on my screen it's really washed out. And then you've got this really intense, dark, grungy correction with a bit of sharpness added into the rocks, so we really get some nice detail on them, which is cool. And I'm also working on some of the visual effects, including the gunshot and everything. But next door, my brother's working on some of the visual effects as well, which is quite nice. Family affair. Tom, who did the set design, What are you working on, Tom?
I don't really know what I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's read the script, but basically...
No, it's in my room. I haven't actually read it.
Okay, so he's got the script, he hasn't read
Explained
it.
it to me.
I've explained what happens, and he's just working on creating someone hanging from the ceiling. You can see here we've actually got someone hanging from the ceiling. What we might need to do is add a little bit of blur to him.
Yeah, it's got blurred.
Okay, cool. Just to add the depth.
Probably needs a bit more though.
Yeah, well I think if you make him darker, then he'll be more distinct from the background. If you just add like a brightness layer, or a brightness, just add an exposure. No. Hello and welcome back to the behind the scenes for The Dark and Light of Day. Literally just finished putting some touches on another teaser poster for the film. Every now and then when I'm editing, I just see a screenshot and I'm like, that would be fantastic as a poster. So, old school, I print screen the screen, send it into Photoshop and make it into a poster, which is pretty simple. So today, well, I'm about to go downstairs and have breakfast. And then I'm going to go over to Nick who helped out filming, and we're going to do some spotting, which is just go through the film over and over again. We've now got a good edit, good solid edit, working on the colour and the sound and everything. And we're just going to look for all the mistakes, everything that is just, like, wrong. So hopefully by the end of the day we'll have a list of things that are wrong that do not include colour correction, because I haven't graded the whole film yet. I'm only doing particular shots just to get the tone of the whole scene, so I know what the rest of the scene will look like. Hope that makes sense. So, on for breakfast. Today is July 30th, and I've been through the film, I've exported it, put it on DVD so I can do like a preview, see what's working, what's not working, what I need to change. Released the promo that you may have seen. If you haven't, that's on the website, which is darkandlight.danallenfilms.com, which I also tell you in the promo. And I've been through it, I've been through the film. Basically, you get it to the point where you think it's done and you think it's presentable, and then you sit there with a notepad and you write a list of as many things as you can that you need to change, improve, tweak to finish it. And then you export that, and then you do the exact same thing. And when you haven't got any more, then you know you're ready. You can see that at the moment it's done about, I don't know, what's that, 25%? Towards a third, maybe. And it's still got 2.5 hours left to go to encode. That's the trouble. This workflow that I've got going, that I've been talking about, is fantastic. But at HD files, and every now and then the links between After Effects and Premiere Pro lose themselves, and you have to re-render it all. I mean, it's taking 2.5 hours to encode the rest of that, but to actually render it for playback in the editing system takes longer. That's why you want to get as much, well, you don't want to be touching the colour, you don't want to be, you can add maybe 1 or 2 visual effects, but you don't want to be doing anything else until you've got a solid edit that you're happy with. In fact, you should be finalising the edit, sending it off to your DVD player, to as many mediums as you can, checking the edit, and then you can decide whether it's good enough, and then you start working on the sound, the colour. You can work on sound whilst you're editing, because that doesn't take as long to render. But you see now, I play the waiting game. It was rendering last night as well. You can see one of the visual effects is this sort of man hanging from the ceiling. That's the one that you saw my brother working on. So I brought it in, he sent me all the project files, relinked the media, and then I just tweaked it to fit it in to its place in this film, as well as grading it, so it's ready to be watched. And that was it. And then now it's in the timeline, it's ready to go, and we're done. I know some of you may have questions. I've tried to answer as many of them as I can, predicting what they may be, but if you have any questions, ask them in the comments and I will answer them in an answer video that will be released with the film. It's kind of like release notes or something like that.